Welcome into Titan Game Day morning on this Week 3 Sunday. Titans and Raiders getting ready to kick off at Nissan Stadium, a noon Central kickoff time today. You know the drill. We're going to go through your 3 keys to success for the Titans to be able to find their first win of the season, do a best bet, and then get you on your way for this game today. I'd be curious to see what the environment looks like in Nissan Stadium after the way these first 2 have gone. And I was talking to a couple of people last night on my way back from Knoxville because I was in the house for the Vols victory over the Gators at Neyland Stadium. I said it was going to be tough for me to go from that environment into what I expect today's environment to be. But nonetheless, a football game will be played, and we will see which team comes out 0-3 for the worst. God forbid there's a tie, knock on wood. Before we get started, though, need you guys to share this show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. If you're hanging out with us on Twitter, please retweet the show. It's in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you are on YouTube or Twitch, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, throw a like on the video, and we would be grateful for you doing so. If you are on Facebook Live, you can share now to public. That's in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Your Facebook friends can join the fun on this Titan Game Day morning. And now that more of you are here from the Superbook Sports Studios, we'll go ahead and get this thing started. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the aforementioned Superbook Sports Studio, except this is not prime time. This is Titan Game Day morning. Old habits die hard. I'm your host, Buck Rising. I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by Two Rivers Ford. That's the place that you go for the best possible car buying experience. TwoRiversFord.com is how you can start your online search today. The Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage, GaryAshton.com, your dream address without the stress is what the Ashton team can provide to you. Get the intel edge at GaryAshton.com. And Superbook Sports, where you can go to wager on all the football this fall. Superbook.com for terms and conditions. They'll match your first bet up to $1,000. Lewis is in here early rooting for anarchy. He would love to see a tie. I think that is the worst case scenario. Lewis, don't wish that upon me. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Please, God, no. But you know the drill, how this thing goes. This is a team that is in desperate need of a win. An 0-3 start does not necessarily eliminate them as it would for nearly any other AFC team in any other AFC division. And yet, the AFC South is a wasteland of terrible football. And so 0-3 would not necessarily rule you out of this of the rest of the season, but it certainly would be a terrible way to start. So as we look for the Titans to build upon what they've been able to do, which, by the way, has not been much to this point, we're going to have to go through 3 areas where they need to improve. The 3 keys to success, as is the custom here on Titan Game Day morning. It is interesting. It's also worth watching that the Colts are playing the Kansas City Chiefs in Indianapolis today. The Titans will play the Chiefs later on in the season in November on Sunday Night Football. But the Colts have a horrendous start to their schedule. And the Titans are working with their own issues, mostly on the injury report side of things. We will go through all these things together, but first I must ask you, what is your biggest key? Give me one. I'll give you 3, but I just need one from you. Give me your 3 biggest keys, or rather give me your biggest key for the Titans to have success today. I will give you 3, and we will go through them together right after I remind you that Two Rivers Ford is where you go for the optimal car buying experience, not just because they'll give you great guaranteed rates on any custom ordered 2023 model year Ford, not just because they will give you $500 bonus cash when you also order a 2023 model year Ford, but they will find ways for you to succeed no matter how it is that you like to shop. Two Rivers Ford will go above and beyond with their award-winning customer service. Find out more information from their non-commissioned salespeople in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. So, keys to success for the Titans to be able to win. Lewis says Tier Tart. I know Lewis likes Tier Tart a lot for as much as I see his name in the comments. But, the nose tackle who does not play the majority of the snaps is not, I think, necessarily a plus all the time on the field. Now, the Raiders are without Josh Jacobs today. He did not make the trip due to illness. They are also going to be without Hunter Renfrow, it's worth noting. Now, if you paid attention to the news cycle yesterday, I know there was a lot of things going on in the world of college football that may have distracted you from Titans news. But as initially feared, on Monday night, Taylor Lewan has suffered a season-ending, not career-ending, but a season-ending knee injury. So he will not be available for the foreseeable future, and certainly he will be on IR, or they have already placed him on IR. BK Titans said Jacobs traveled to Nashville yesterday. Did he? I had not seen that update. I only saw the report from Vic Tafer that I believe that's how you pronounce Vic's last name, that he had initially not made the trip because of illness. I'm looking now for the update on Josh Jacobs. Okay, Josh Jacobs is making a flight to Nashville 17 hours ago, questionable for Sunday's game against the Raiders. Producer Reed just texted that to me as well. Okay, so worth noting, Hunter Renfrow still ruled out, though, dealing with the concussion protocol. So, yes, stopping the run with Josh Jacobs will be critical. They also have the rookie Zaire White out of Georgia, who I know they're going to get a lot of work today. We will see how these things continue to progress. But the first key to the game, I think, is multi-layered. It is find ways to put Derrick Henry in position to succeed. Because while the Titans have not had success with it thus far, and while I think their offensive line this season to be inadequate by any stretch of the imagination, they have no plan B. And so they have to figure out their rushing attack to be able to have the kind of success and just basically to be able to continue the style of play that they like to play. This was Greg Cosell earlier this week.
When they give the ball to Derrick Henry and they're not successful running the ball, behind, by the way, a not very good offensive line right now, then what's next? What is plan B? You know, Ryan Tannehill has had success in this league, but I would bet, and I believe this myself, I would bet that most coaches that you would speak to around the league, I'm not talking about Titans coaches, would say that Tannehill is more of a complimentary quarterback than a guy in the Josh Allen mold. I'm not comparing talent. I'm just saying the kind of guy that you can just put the offense on his back and he just, rides you off into the sunset.
Yeah. So, and that's been the bulk of our discussion is what is plan B? Because plan B, after Derrick was ineffective in that game, was certainly not any more effective for the Titans trying to get something going. And obviously Buffalo did well to stop them at every turn.
The question is, and it goes back to what you and I have discussed since we started doing the podcast, and I've discussed as well on 3HL, is to be a really good offense, your run game and your pass game have to be able to work independently of one another, because you never know what any given game will bring. It's why going back, years and years ago, old timers, of which I am, will remember when the Rams had Eric Dickerson, arguably one of the greatest runners in the history of the NFL. And yet the Rams did not have a passing game. So when they would get to the playoffs and play really good defenses that shut down Eric Dickerson, as great as he was, they didn't have anything else to do that could really work. So the question is, what's next if it doesn't work? Because there's a couple of issues here. It's easy to rip the coaches now. That's easy, okay? But here's what they're working with. And I'm telling you what the tape shows. You know that what I say is based on tape. This is not an emotional statement for me, Buck. You know that. They don't have a very good offensive line. They have no team speed on offense, zero team speed on offense. It's very, very hard to compete in the league with no team speed on offense. So if your running back, as great as he is and can be any given week, is not breaking explosive runs, where do the big plays come from? There's no team speed.
No. So that's Greg Cosell's analysis. I'm going to tell you why the team speed part of it is worth kind of diving into more in just a second, right after I remind you that the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage is also one of the presenting sponsors of the Titan Game Day Morning Show. The Ashton team will get you the same kind of intel, or as good of intel as Greg Cosell just gave you on your offense. the intel that helps you sell your home without any showings or staging, that intel that helps you buy your next home in this red hot Nashville real estate market, and to make sure that you cash in on your home equity and win the buyer battle now. GaryAshton.com, the official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators, and certainly a giant Titans fan, is Gary Ashton and the Ashton Real Estate Group, GaryAshton.com for more information. So basically the problem is Tannehill is a complimentary piece, which is not an indictment. We knew this. Jacoby Brissett can be a complimentary piece, and football teams can still win games. The Browns certainly did on Thursday night. Jimmy Garoppolo, Tua Tagovailoa is a complimentary piece. There are so many of these different quarterbacks where like mediocre or passable is not a bad thing. You just have to have the skill. You have to have the system and the skill positions to make sure that everything can go. Miami has done well around Tua in this way. The Titans did well around Tannehill in the last couple of years, and everything's kind of fallen to shit. So like Todd Downing playing the way that they still want to play is not necessarily my big issue. My big issue is that they're no longer physically equipped to do that at this point. I think there is a lot of this that's just focused on the offensive line being piss poor throughout the course of the season, and certainly there does not look like there is going to be a rectification of that. So find ways to get Derrick Henry, to make Derrick Henry more effective. It seems like an impossible task, but that is their task, and they must find a way to execute it, or otherwise they have zero shot. They have no plan B. You look at the other two team keys. Explosive plays have to be limited. You cannot have coverage busts in the secondary. You cannot have Trey Avery running around trying to chase down Stephon Diggs as you did on Monday Night Football. You cannot have all of these different situations. Now, Christian Fulton did practice almost, I think he might have practiced every day this week. I'd have to go back and look at my injury reports to see, what limitations he may or may not have had. But I think that explosive plays, having Christian Fulton back out there, will help limit that. Their pass rush, though, is a problem. They have to find different ways to affect the quarterback because Ola Adeni, Bud Dupree, and, of course, Harold Landry are not available for this football team. They did add Wyatt Ray to the active roster to take Taylor Lewan's roster spot yesterday. So those are the three keys to the game. Find ways to affect the passer. Find ways to get Derrick Henry going. Limit explosive plays to keep yourself in this game. And, if I may add a fourth, don't muff a punt to make your life even harder. Kernick says, is it PSL season yet? I mean, it's honestly a little muggy in Nashville today, but I'm not no more PSLs. I got to get 200 by Super Bowl, and there's like 750 calories in a large one of those things. So I think it's not the only reason I got super fat during the COVID football seasons, but I'm certain it didn't help. So let us continue with the Titan game day morning. We're going to give you a best bet before I head on out to the stadium to do Titans radio with Blaine Bishop and Mickey Ryan here in just a little bit. Adam Schefter has just tweeted, Raiders running back Josh Jacobs, who flew separately from the team to Tennessee due to an illness and is listed as questionable today, will work out in pregame warmups to determine his availability. There is optimism he will be ready to play, but no decision until pregame warmups. So I think that is the case at this point. All right, so let's do a best bet to see what may you, at least if the Titans lose. Let's see if I can't make you a little money, courtesy of Superbook Sports. Superbook Sports is where you go to wager this football season. They have odds boosts on all local and a few national teams for you to get involved with. They have lines up for every NFL game for the rest of the season in the Superbook Sports app. Superbook.com for terms and conditions. They'll match your first bet up to $1,000, whether the bet wins or loses. Superbook.com is where you go. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. So when you can't count on anything else for the Titans, what can you count on if you were wanting to place a best bet today? My best bet at this point would be Derrick Henry minus 140 as an anytime touchdown scorer. It is the most reliable thing that they have. If they can get him inside the 20, there's a pretty good percentage chance it's going to Derrick Henry. It was certainly the only thing that you could count on last week, and he was responsible for the only 6 points that they scored by way of touchdown Derrick Henry minus 140 to score a touchdown at any point in the Superbook Sports app, this week's best bet. All right. A pleasure as always to spend some time with you guys this morning. I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to head to the stadium. I hope to see you guys if you're out there tailgating at Nissan Stadium. Blaine Bishop, Mickey Ryan, and myself will be doing the League Company Countdown to Kickoff from 9 to 11. So you can hear more Titans coverage then. I'll be able to expand in a little more detail on everything that's gone on this week and, the issues with Taylor Lewan and what to make of Caleb Farley and, just general evaluations of this team against a Raiders team who is also backed into a similar corner and, frankly, needs the win far more than you do, given the division that they play in. Have a great time. Enjoy the football for your mental well-being. I hope that everything goes your way today. If not, certainly we'll be back to talk about it live from Nissan Stadium on A to Z Sports